Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Hello and welcome to Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. So today we have on Horace Jenkins, and he's going to share with us his life story. He won the dunk contest in 2001 for the NCAA. On the flyers say the oldest rookie, but I'm going to say a more mature rookie to be drafted in the NBA. So he's going to share with us. He also have a 3D Elite. I think I'm saying that right, but he'll correct me if I'm wrong. Drills and skills program. So he's going to share that with us. Hello, April. He's going to share that with us today. So without further ado, let's bring him on this Easter Sunday. I hope everybody enjoyed today, and thanks for tuning in.
DJ, come on DJ, put that record on the replay. Don't you see how them bitches move their booty? Every time you play this record, smell like coochie. Follow them, screaming like a groupie. Misdemeanor, move my nookie like a hoochie. But I'm haters, fuck whatever you say. Because you know I'm too cool for you anyway. I'm just a bad bitch, M.I.S. miss. I'ma keep talking shit till you get this. I'ma bust up in the club with no guest list. Them other artists, I keep them all restless. I don't French kiss unless it's 50 Cent. Vivica, we can share them like the president. Tabloids, I don't care, it's irrelevant. I'm heaven sent, now watch I do the shit. I'm really hot. Every time my records drop, radio says I won't stop, cause I'm killing them. You don't know what you're talking about. You would think I was shook when I come out. My album hit hard when I roll out. Y'all records make a bitch wanna throw them out, and that's no doubt. See, I rock bells, fly as hell and cool as Zinfandels. Baby, can't you tell I lick my lips like a male L? And I'm doing it and doing it and doing it well. Straight to the hotel. I'm celibate, so boy, you gets no tell. Kiss and still you gets nowhere. Just two blue balls down in your underwear. I play unfair. I'm a hot gal. Hot cars and stars and strip bars. It ain't hot if I'm not there. I'm a true player. You can find me up in any record store. Hurry up and get ya. I'm really hot. Every time my records drop, radio says I won't stop, cause I'm killing them. Look, let me move to the left. Go ahead, let me feel myself. Touch my chest, my sweat. Show the DJs how I shake my breasts. Jiggle, jiggle, jangle. Watch how my gluteus dangle. I do a 1-2 step. Stop! No, I ain't done yet. Everybody in the club go to work. Tight jeans, crop shirt, short skirts. I'ma rock to the beat till it hurt. I'ma drop it on the street, yeah, you heard. Haters, I flip the bird. Got guns, so what? I ain't scared. I came to boogie and swerve. Hang line, folk, that's my word. Every time my records drop, radio says I won't stop, cause I'm killing them.
Wow, impressive. You're very fast on the court, I must say.
Thank
So,
you, thank
hello,
you.
and thank you so much for coming on.
How
If
you
you could
doing,
just tell
Frame?
the viewers a little about yourself. I'm
Yes, how you
fine.
doing, Framer?
I'm
First of
good. How are
all,
you?
happy Easter to everyone out there. Happy Easter to you and your family, Framer, and
Thank
happy
you.
Easter to my brother Alan and his family as well.
Thank you.
I
Thank
just want to thank you guys for having me on the show and giving me an opportunity to share my story on you guys' platform or whatever. It's extremely humbling for me. You know, I watched a few of you guys interview my son and my wife and things of that nature, and the dialogue and things that you guys share and the the outlook that you give on a whole different perspective of just
you.
life
Right.
for me is truly impressive. So I'm happy. I'm happy to have this opportunity to be on the platform to share my story.
I appreciate that.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Horace Jenkins. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey, born and raised. I was fortunate to play professional basketball for 11 years. And lately I've been speaking on a lot of platforms, and for me, I started to gain a greater appreciation for the journey that I took to become a professional and fulfill a lifelong dream of mine, making the NBA. As I said, I was born and raised in Elizabeth. And the funny thing about me making it to the NBA is that anybody from where I'm from, Elizabeth, New Jersey, they
Hmm.
think that I'm actually a better football player than basketball player. Now, I
Wow.
played football, and I was pretty good. I was a pretty good athlete, but I was really really good in football. But the thing with me in football is that I don't like cold weather. So I think it might have
Oh,
been
okay.
my freshman year. First of all, my first time playing organized ball was in eighth grade because I was football is my first love.
Mhm.
My ninth grade year is when I stopped playing football and really started focusing on the basketball. I remember being on the football field and just saying it was so cold outside that I just said, you know what? I don't love football enough like that to just be standing out here in the cold practicing. So after my freshman year is when I really started to focus on basketball. Now, the like for basketball became a love, and that love turned into a true passion, you know.
Okay.
So for me, basketball became therapeutic because, for one, it was something that always kept me out of trouble. You know, growing up in the inner city of Elizabeth, it's so many things that can occupy your time and really derail you from, whatever it is that your um, dreams or goals are. But God rest my mom's soul. She said a lot of prayers for me, and her prayers was very strong because I never wanted to make a a detour and to turn into the wrong things. And I used basketball as an outlet. There was a recreation center not too right around the corner from the projects that I lived in, and I was just living it, literally living it. And because I spent so much
Wow.
time in the gym, I started to realize that I I started to become a lot better at basketball. And when I started to become a lot better at
Okay.
basketball, that really that really just inspired me to really focus on it and elevate. You know, when people start telling you, "Hey, man, you're pretty good at this," or whatever, you start focusing more.
Right.
And it's not like feeding your ego, but it's just like when you hear compliments, it makes you want to continue to hear those compliments. So, I begin to get
Right.
better.
Right.
Um, I played my ninth grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade year. But one of the most humbling experiences for me was that I was academically eligible my senior year in high school. Now
Oh,
I had a few schools that was interested in me going into my senior year, but once I became academically eligible, those schools kind of backed off because no
mm,
school is going to be willing to invest a $250,000 scholarship in you if they
right.
can't trust you in a classroom, right?
Right.
So being on the outside looking in was probably the toughest thing for me because not only did I feel like I let myself down, my family down, and my teammates down, but I lost focus. And it wasn't that I couldn't do the work.
I just lost focus. So, you start feeling yourself a little bit, and
Right.
I didn't prioritize things the correct way. I started to put athletics before my academics, and it cost me my senior year. But I think that was probably it's like a gift and a curse, because I feel like that was one of the best things that happened to me, but
Okay.
also the worst things that happened to me. Because when you're on the outside looking in, and having to be on the outside looking in at something that you truly love to do, it's like a dagger, because it's like, wow, I worked so hard to get to this point. And your senior year is supposed to be like your victory lap. And
Right.
unfortunately, I
Right.
took that away from me because I just got lazy in the classroom. And on any progress report, every teacher would speak real highly of me. But I just, I take full accountability of that. And, so now I had to take the longer route, like the
Right.
alternate route, the scenic route, where you go through every exit, which for me, it was probably the best life experience, because it taught me a lot about myself. Like, how
Right.
bad do I really want to overcome, you know, the adversity or the obstacle that I had to face my senior year not playing. So I wound up enrolling to Union County College, and being out a year away from basketball. I had a really good year, averaged 20 points. The team had a lot of success, but excuse me. But going into the second semester of my freshman year, I was having my first child. I was
Oh,
19,
okay.
and I was still a baby myself. I was young, and I don't have any regrets. But once my first son Hakeem was born,
Mm-hmm.
I was no longer focused. I was a full-time student. I was working a full-time job, and I was a full-time college athlete. So for me, it was extremely overwhelming. So going
Mm-hmm.
into my sophomore year, I went to school for the first semester of my sophomore year, and I realized it was just too much for me. I was trying to juggle so much, but it's like I'm only one person, right? So
Right.
trying
Right.
to be a full-time father, work a full-time job, be a full-time athlete, and it's hard to really, like, with me. One thing about me, if I'm dedicated to something, you're going to get my undivided. So I felt like at that time I wasn't able to fully focus on the athletics,
Yeah.
academic. I wasn't. I just wasn't, and working. So I thought at that time, after the first semester of my sophomore year in junior college, I just took a leave of absence. Now,
Mhm.
this is the part of this journey for me that was the most humbling, because I said that I'd take a semester off. That one semester turned into another semester, which was two semesters. Those
Mm.
two semesters turned into 3 years. So I left school for 3 years.
Really? Really?
Right.
Wow.
But what that helped me do was not only mature, but it helped fully prepare me for what the world was about to throw at me. You know what I'm saying? In terms of
Yeah. Yeah.
responsibility. Now, why that's important is because I didn't want to put that burden of me being a father or my child on anyone else. So
Right. Absolutely.
those 3 years that I was away from school, I stayed in the gym. I was working on my game, playing against top competition, having a lot of success. So there was a lot of people who was telling me, "Hey, Horace, you really have to go back to school, man. You got so much talent. Don't waste the opportunity that God's given you, a God-given ability. Don't waste
Right.
that." So I was always inspired by that. But timing is everything.
Wow.
So after being out of school for 3 years, I remember playing in a pro-am. The pro-am is like the top summer league during the summer, where the top players, college, pros, they come playing it. And I was a standout. And I say that humbly, not, I'm far from a cocky person, but I'm just saying I was a
You just
standout.
stating facts.
But because I stayed in the gym. I always stayed on top of my game, right? So I was about 2 weeks from going to finishing my sophomore year in junior college in Maryland, when I played a game in Newark, New Jersey at Branchbrook Park.
Hmm.
My college coach wound up coming to see a guy that was already enrolled into William Paterson University, the school that I wound up enrolling into in December of 1998.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a blessing because the game that this college coach came to, I wasn't even going to go to the game because I had a prior engagement that I'd already committed to. So my coach said, just come, you can play a half and, then you can leave or whatever. So I wound up coming to the game and I played the whole game. But the weirdest thing for me was just like, I had my college coach. I had this coach that wasn't my college coach yet, that was at the game, and he didn't take his eye off me. He stared at me the whole game. And it made me uncomfortable because I didn't know who it was.
Right.
So after the first half, I had a really good first half. I had about 28 points in the first half, and I'm just playing my game, having fun, enjoying what I love to do most, and I was just play basketball. So it made me uncomfortable that this one person was staring at me, and I didn't know who it was. So right before halftime was ended, we're kind of gathered around getting the game plan together. And I said to one of my teammates, I said, yo, do y'all know this guy? And they said, who? Now, I'm in the urban area. That's the hood. So, and they protect me. So it's kind of like, yo, who? So they turn around. I'm just pointing like this guy, like he's just staring at me the whole game. And like, who is this? I don't know if he's a cop, but it was making me real uncomfortable.
Right.
One of my teammates said, oh, that's my college coach or whatever. So once he said that, I said, oh, okay. So make a long story short, the game ended. He makes a beeline to me. I wound up having like 40, 45 points. And he makes a beeline to me. And he said, hey, how you doing? My name is Jose Rabemez. I'm the coach of William Paterson University. He said, what's your name? I said, I'm Horace. He said, hey, listen, I've been around basketball for a long time. And I've never seen a talent such as yours. So I don't know him. And, to me, it was kind of like blowing smoke. He said, listen, you're a special player. Are you in school? So I told him that I was actually 2 weeks away from going into a JUCO in Maryland, a junior college in Maryland. JUCO is junior college in Maryland. And he told me, he said, well, listen, if you need any help with getting in school, here's my card. Give me a call. So I took the card. I was like, thank you. Nice to meet you. So I goes home, and on the way home, I'm just looking at this card. When I get home, Freema, and this is in 1998, so cell phones and none of that was house phones.
Right.
I call from my house phone, and I call him, and his wife pick up the phone, and I said, hello, can I speak to Coach Rabemez? She said, is this Horace? Now, I don't know his wife.
Oh, wow.
And I said, like, yes, who am I speaking to? She said, oh, this is his wife. He was actually looking forward to your call. He told me if you called to, just take a message. I said, okay, well, just tell him to give me a call. I was calling him because he gave me his card. So I'm in the house and watching TV. And I leave out the house about a half hour after I called him. And my mom called me and said, hey, my mom called me June. She said, June, there's somebody named Jose Rabemez on the phone right now. So I get on the phone with him. Him and I talked for maybe an hour. And he said to me, if you're serious about getting to school, I can really help you out. I can get you into William Paterson University, which was in New Jersey, and my son's in New Jersey. Now, mind you, I didn't want to leave too far from my son, but I was pursuing something, and when you're chasing something, chasing dreams, sometimes you got to make sacrifices that may be a little more, that you don't want to do, uncomfortable, which was fine. So he wound up telling me, look, how about I pick you up? I'll bring you up to William Paterson University. You let me know what you think. So he already had in his mind that once I get this guy up in his campus, I'm not letting him leave it.
Right.
So now, Freema, I live in the projects. Not too many people just want to pull up there comfortably. He told me he'll pick me up at 7 o'clock. Do you know he was outside my projects at 6:45? Shout out to my coach, David Bimmers. The funniest thing is that people, they're out there, they're hustling. So
Right.
he's a new face. Nobody don't know. Everybody run up to his car, ask him, do he want this? Do he want that? He was like, no, thank you. So when I come out he calls me at 6:45. At 6:30, I'm not even ready. He say I'm outside. So I get outside about 6:45. I brush my teeth, gather myself, get myself together. and he tells me, I'm outside. So I come outside. They're like, yo, June, who is that? And I was just like, nah, that's a college coach, man. You know, it was like, oh man, you gotta let us know. So make a long story short, he brought me up to the university, got me through admissions. I signed my application, everything. He brings me to the athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
Every coach in there, athletic director, assistant athletic director, he tells them, this guy right here is going to change the face of our university.
Wow.
So Freeman, I don't even know who this guy is, right?
Right.
And he's basically writing a check that I have to basically cash now. So when he says that, they're all looking at me like, if he's going to change the face of our university, why is he here? Without none of them knowing my story.
Right.
So they tell me what I have to do. I have to go back to Union County College, the college that I was at for the year and a half, to get my grades right, because I needed a certain amount of credits. Now, this is going back to my senior year, me being academically ineligible and kind of just losing focus and not applying myself the way that I had to. So now I'm put in a situation where I have to apply myself, right, in order to become eligible to play.
To play, yeah.
This was the best time of my life and the biggest blessing, because I got four A's and 1 B.
Oh wow! Okay.
So this goes back to I didn't apply myself the way that I did my senior year, and I was academically eligible. This opportunity I wasn't going to let pass. I was out of school for 2 years, so I would literally lock myself in my room, study, do everything. And I was never a study person. You know, I kind of had a good feel for just, you know, what I see, what I saw, what I read.
Right.
So anyway, I would lock myself in my room. I would do my homework, do everything that I needed to do to pass. Every one of my professors, because my college coach checked up on me every day. And he's like, you know, just keep up the good work. So I wound up getting 4 A's and 4 B's. 4 A's and a B. And I wound up rolling into William Paterson University in 1999.
Okay.
Make a long story short, you know, because, you know, it's so much to the story. We went to 2 Final Fours, national championship. I'm William Paterson's all-time leading scorer, 2.5 years. I scored 1,972 points. I'm the all-time leader in three-pointers made. I got the winningest percentage of any player. I got 3-time Division III Player of the Year, 3-time Division III All-American, first-team All-American. But this is all the hunger that I had from my senior year being taken away from me.
Right.
And I pretty much prophesied this to people when I went to Union County to get my grades right. I said, when I get back into school, I'm going to accomplish this, that.
Right.
And everything that I said to these people, it came to fruition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's nothing but God. I'm a firm believer. Like, God used me as an example with my testimony, right?
Right.
So now when I speak about these things to clients that I have, or to just when I'm doing motivational speaking, or when I'm speaking to certain teams, I never really realized the impact of my story, because it was my life.
It was your life, right?
You know what I mean? So when you're in the moment, you don't look at it. I can never view things the way maybe the viewers or people that don't know about the story. I can never view it like that, because it's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when certain people come and tell me like, wow, man, this is really inspirational. I spoke in churches, motivational speaking. It's humbling for me, because it's just like, wow, like this wasn't the traditional route. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just because one door closes doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There's going to be opportunities out there, but when you get second and third opportunities, you got to take full advantage.
You got to take it. A lot of people would have given up. That's why it's so wowing to them to hear your story, because out of school for 3 years, and then you went back and basically aced it. You know, that's kind of like somebody be like, whew, they'll get discouraged, you know, knowing that you got to academically do well basically a second time. You know, that's kind of like, whew. So yeah, takes a special kind of person for that.
And the one person, God rest my mom, so she always believed in me. She said she would always tell me, because she called me baby boy, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You got too much talent. You work too hard. Just stay the course. Don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up. And those words were so powerful for me because my mom was my superhero. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she could do no wrong to me. Her prayers were so strong. She would always, keep me out of the streets and always sacrifice so much to make sure she gave me every opportunity to become successful. I got two sisters as well, but what she never wanted to do was lose me to the streets. So I
Right.
never wanted
Right.
to let her down. But she told me, and for me, like I said, I was a 3-time All-American. I won a slam dunk contest, the only Division III player there.
Wow.
It's just a mentality that I had that I was going to be successful. I wasn't going to let
Right.
nothing or nobody take that
Tell
away
you
from me.
different. Right.
And I knew that I was living for a bigger purpose because my son was watching.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
you had my son hop on, and you spoke, and just to see when I saw that his level of maturity and the adversity that he's overcome, he's seen his dad do it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he knew that when I get this second opportunity, I'm not going
I'm
to
not
allow
gonna
it
mess
to
it
fall.
up. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
So now I'm getting highly recruited from the NBA. It's just so much. God's timing is something else. Sometimes, Freema, we want things when we want it, right?
Right. Right.
And we don't appreciate the timing of it sometimes because if it's not on our time, we kind of like, it ain't gonna never happen. The one
You're
thing I
right.
had is patience. I knew it was going to happen. You know what I mean? So I wound up, I was coming out in the draft, in the 2001 draft, as a number 2 point guard. I was highly rated, having so much success in these individual workouts, having so much success in these pre-drafts, and being the only Division III player in this situation, right? And garnering so much respect from my peers.
Right.
They had me rated, projected, I should say, to be drafted as high as 13, which is a lottery pick, and as low as 25. And I was excited about that. I didn't know about that. I kind of really
Yeah.
bought
Yeah.
into that. I didn't
Wow.
get drafted. You know what I'm saying? And it deflated. It was demoralizing because I felt, at least, that what I put out there was deserving of being drafted. But sometimes business decisions is business decisions. And once I got to the professional level and started understanding the business aspect of things, I realized that my purpose wasn't to go in the NBA right away, right?
Right.
I wound up given the opportunity to go overseas. The funny thing about it, I never wanted to go overseas. I'm like, my family won't get a chance to play. Don't nobody know what's going on overseas. When I went to Europe, Freeman, it was the biggest blessing of my life because I got a chance to experience so many different things,
Wow.
a different culture, being in Italy, learning a different language, becoming accustomed to people that's a different ethnicity of me, that doesn't even speak my same language. And these people becoming family. And if you're a good basketball player over there, they love you. I'm talking about they treat you like a superstar. So my first year over there, I was so frustrated that I didn't get drafted, and I was kind of just angry, kind of at the world. So I had so much animosity towards, me being overlooked and kind of, undermined, that I said, when I go over here, I'm a dominate. Lo and behold, my first year overseas, I averaged 31 points. I got the MVP of the league. My team had a lot of success. We finished in 3rd place. We lost in the semifinals of the playoffs, and that's due to one of our key players getting injured. But what was lost, I now found. Now, those people that probably doubted me started to see, like, wow, this kid really is as advertised. So my second year, I wound up playing in Italy again, having a really good success, went to the Final Four, lost in the semifinals of the playoffs or whatever. The team finished the second, we finished in 2nd place, the highest that team's ever finished. in the club's history. And I wound up getting a pretty good contract my second year, which was in Rome, Italy. And my third year, I went to Athens, Greece. So the biggest blessing for me, my first year I was in Milan. My second year I was in Rome, Italy. My third year I was in Athens, Greece. Now, each one of those are like major cities in those countries. So I got a chance to be, kind of spoiled by opportunities that I didn't even want to be a part of at first, right? But it wound up becoming the best experience for me because I was playing so well when I was in Greece, when I went to Greece, that the Detroit Pistons would come every week to keep tabs on a guy that they drafted the year before I got to Athens, Greece, and they just see me just standing out. And I say that to say this. Every time you step on a court, every time in life, whether it's an interview, there's always somebody watching. So it's important to always be on top of your game because you just never know. You really never know who's watching. This whole time I'm over there, I'm playing. I'm a second leading scorer in the EuroLeague. I had no idea that Detroit was watching me. They wound up bringing me to Summer League and signing me, kind of drafting me and signing me to a free agent deal. And Freeman, let me tell you something. I've had the birth of my children, me marrying my wife,
right,
and making my mom proud of me. It's three of the biggest things that in my life that I feel that I accomplished.
Absolutely.
But making it to the NBA and fulfilling a lifelong dream of mine, something that I set out as a kid. Like when you're young, you say I'm gonna make it to the NBA, but you really don't understand like the work that it takes to get there and how it's a 3% in the world that makes it there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me to be able to fulfill a lifelong dream with the journey that I had to take to get there,
the long route. That's amazing. Though.
It was such a blessing for me because it's just like wow, all this hard work, this sacrificing, me leaving school for 3 years, getting back into school, that's God's timing, right? That's God's plan. Because my testimony, now that I'm able to share this on the platforms that I'm sharing it on, I appreciate it more, but I realize my purpose now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many people out there that's experiencing maybe a similar situation, not maybe exactly the same as mine. And they probably get to the point where they want to give up. And sometimes when I share my story, I had a person tell me, like, you know what? I was at a fork in the road where I really wanted to just give up. But hearing your story has inspired me so much that I know I'm going to make it right now. Now, when you hear things like that, it's so humbling. So now when I get a chance to share my story, I start to gain even a greater appreciation the way you guys look at it. You know what I mean? Because now that I'm away from the game, it's just like, wow. So many people come up to me and, I wound up having a 11-year career, so much success, a lot of MVPs, a lot of scoring titles and things of that nature. But the accolades is so rewarding because of the sacrifices that I made and the obstacles and adversity that I was faced up against. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So overcoming all that has helped me become the man that I am today. So now, like my children, they understand it. They read it. My kids are inspired by that. My kids are getting so many compliments from their friends. Like, once you make it in the NBA, you become like a iconic figure to all little kids. You know what I mean? So now I realize that I'm in this position. I have a voice that can garner their undivided attention. I have to use this to my advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mentor kids. I'm a motivational speaker. Now I started my own AAU program, which is a nonprofit organization, because I love working with kids. I have my own business where I train kids basketball. My 3D elite training. And it's I realize my purpose now because the impact that I'm having on kids and the success that I'm able to have on helping them become better young men and women. It's not about them making an MBA, but giving them a blueprint to what it takes to just overcome adversity to have success. Because let's face it, in the real world, we all face so many different obstacles, right? Some are tougher than others, and sometimes we feel like it's overwhelming. But you know, me sharing my story with them and just telling them you can become whatever it is that you want to become. Don't never allow nobody to deny you whatever your dreams and aspirations are. And it's just been such a blessing, man, because these kids have sparked so much joy into my life. You know what I'm saying? And my purpose is to lead by example and be their example and be their voice of reason.
Exactly.
And some of the compliments that I get from some of the parents of the kids that I deal with, it really it motivates me more to strive even further to become, you know, even more successful at what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? So my purpose is like, it's a blessing, Freema, and I'm so humble and I'm blessed, and I thank you guys so much for allowing me to share this, because you know it was a long road, but the alternate route for me has helped groom me into such a better man, a better mentor, a better father, a better husband, a better friend, a better brother, a better uncle. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, when you start to realize, sometimes we don't realize our purpose in life until we hit maybe our 30s. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes 40. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just blessed, man, and I'm really inspired to continue to strive to even be better than what I am today.
Right. And it was a little choppy at the end, but I know you mentioned it that you know, this was your passion and now you're giving back, you know, to the youth. And I know it wows them to hear your story. Do you ever get like, whoa, you know, or, you know, even from the older people that I can make it, you know, have anyone ever came to you and said, you make me feel like there is, you know, hope? Because that's a major, you know, story that you're giving us, because wow, I'm impressed, I must say, because like I said, 3 years being out and you succeeded, you still did it, you were motivated. It's great that you're motivating others. It really is.
Freeman, you know what? And I'm happy that you said that, because if not every day, every other day, somebody that meets me, somebody that I come in contact with, or you know, I start to engage conversation with, or reads my story, or somebody that I'm training, a parent, every other day, someone comes to me and tell me exactly what you just said. How you inspire, how I inspired them to not give up, how I gave them so much hope. And like, you know, when you hear that, that's a different type of compliment. You know, it overrides, it makes everything that I did worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, when I hear these compliments from me, it's so humbling. And my wife, my wife will always say to me, like, babe, do you realize your story, how phenomenal your story is? And I like, sometimes I don't, but now,
Seriously,
like with the overwhelming compliments that I've been getting, I just want to tell you guys firsthand, I'm actually in the process of doing a documentary on my life, on my whole life story, because it's so much more, Freeman, that I probably haven't gotten into, that it will probably need a part 2, like just ins and outs and peaks and valleys, and you know, low points and high points that I just would love to share, to get people to understand that life is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. Sometimes we want success too fast. And I think sometimes when you become successful too fast, you don't appreciate it. Sometimes in order to become successful, failures is a part of success, right? In order to become successful, anybody that's become successful, they failed at something. But the failures is the best teachers that you can get, the best experiences that you can get. So like, I'm just at the point now where, like, I really want to focus on my documentary, get my documentary to the masses. And I'm going to do a book as well. So there's so much insight and detailed things that we didn't get a chance to speak about. And like I said, I would love to be on here for a part 2 to speak post basketball career and just a lot of other things from a basketball perspective that I didn't speak about, because sometimes I think a lot of people, like, I'm a humble person, right? I don't never like to toot my own horn or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do enjoy sharing my story, you know. So, but there's so much more that I want to get into, but I also want you guys to look forward to my documentary, which I'm really going to take my time, and I'm going to dedicate that to my mom, because that's something, God rest her soul, that's something that she always tell me, like, baby, you need to do this. You really need to do a story about your life. And I just didn't. Like I was in a moment, I didn't really, understand the significance of it, because it was my everyday life. But now,
right, but now definitely,
because I'm speaking on these platforms, and I've gained a great appreciation for the things that I've had success with. I'm so looking forward to this, and I'll keep you posted, Freeman, where you can
definitely
you can keep people updated, and there's so much more, man. So I really want to give you guys so much more to my life.
These are definitely the type of, stories that I love to hear, that I love to have on, because it's all about inspiring each other. We learn from one another.
Right.
And this is something awesome that, it can happen. You get what I'm saying? That's what it leads to. It can happen for you. You just got to put your mind to it. You got to be willing to put in that work.
That's so true.
I would love.
That's so true that what you said, because sometimes we want to cheat the process, right?
Right.
Like the process sometimes is a long process, but sometimes we want the shortcut. But you know what, Prima? The shortcut is going to put you right back in the place that you started. You know what I'm saying? Yes. The levels of the process, it teaches you values about life, right? So when you get into certain situations, you appreciate it that much more, because anything somebody just gives to you, at the snap of a finger, they can take it away.
Right.
When you go through that process and you earn, nobody can take that away from you.
Nobody can take it from you.
What I've been able to accomplish, I earned that. Nobody
earned that.
Can take that away from you. Nothing was handed to me. And I take full accountability for being academically ineligible, whatever, from, me not giving myself the best chance. But it's the best thing that happened to me, because without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever look back and say, because we always think about the what ifs, or if this would have happened. Do you ever think back? Because like you said, you just wasn't fully there. Back in high school, you didn't apply yourself. Do you think if it was handed to you, would you have made it as far as you did now if it was just handed to you?
I don't think so. No doubt in my mind, I know I wouldn't have made it. Because it was handed to me. Exactly. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't have valued it. You value something so much more when you have to work for it.
You work for it.
And like, people don't understand the extensive hours I spent in the gym perfecting my craft. There was days I got up, I was sore, I didn't want to go, but I took my ass to the gym. Excuse my mouth, but I took my ass to the gym, because I knew what I wanted to become. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, when you start to become the best in your city, the best in your county, the best in your state, and I'm from New Jersey, there's a lot of talent. And for a long period of time, a lot of people view me as one of the better players in New Jersey. And for me, like, it was humbling. Like, when you start getting those type of accolades and it feeds your hunger for more success.
More, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Make you want to fight harder.
Right. Yeah. So Prima, God has blessed me with so many opportunities. And because I've got a strong belief in God, when I made it to that NBA, I got on my knees, I prayed, and I just said, God, I didn't understand why you put me through this, but now I do understand the reason you put me through this. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And like, I remember there was a time when I was wearing NBA player's jersey.
Mhm.
And then it became a time where friends of mine, family, and people that I know was wearing my
Yeah,
NBA.
your jersey. Yes.
That is so humbling, because that's what you represent. That last name on your jersey, that's you. That's what you represent. And one of my biggest accomplishments, and I just got to share this. I remember playing the video games and creating myself. When I first saw myself on NBA Live 2006,
Wow.
it was so surreal, because it's just like wow, that's me. From the tattoo on my arm to just like it was so. But for me, from now, my son's a little older, and all his friends are playing with me. Man, I use your dad. Your dad is so good on the game, and he became an instant hero. Because everybody,
Wow.
your dad is in the NBA, so it's just like all of that adversity that I faced and those obstacles that I had to overcome was so well worth it.
Yeah.
It's so well worth it.
Wow.
And I'm forever grateful that God placed that journey upon me that I went
Absolutely.
through, because, like you said, I value it so much more now, and I've gained such appreciation of myself. You know what I mean?
Right. And he
It's a
gave you the
blessing.
strength to handle all of that. He gave you the strength to study and, put yourself in a mental space, to make sure you did what you had to do to achieve those goals. So it is amazing. Very much so. Wow.
So, man, like
I love
said,
it. I love
please,
it.
Prima, talk to Alan about us having a part 2, because it's so much.
Definitely.
It's so much more that I can enlighten you guys on, and just kind of bring you into my world or whatever, and kind of really get you kind of a little more in depth with my documentary and what's going to be on there.
I would love it.
The things that really kind of inspired me, and the things that kind of really broke me, and about my book or whatever. And I'm excited about it. So
Yeah, I'm
the
excited
technicalities was difficult at first, but it's all God's timing. It's all God's
Yeah,
timing.
definitely.
For the people that viewed in, I truly thank you guys. I hope if one person can be inspired by it or whatever, if any one of you guys want my on Instagram, it's HoJink15. On Instagram, my business page is Horace Jenkins Elite Training. On Facebook, my regular name Horace Jenkins, and I also have a Horace Jenkins 3D Elite Training Facebook page. And you want to just kind of subscribe, follow me, or anything of that nature, I'm open to it. I'll give Freeman and Alan my information. If you guys want to just reach out, it's kind of, just top it up and just share knowledge. I'm completely open with that. But like I said, Freeman, please work on doing this part 2, because it's a lot more. Unfortunately, my phone is on 5%, so I don't want to.
I know, just ended abruptly.
I thank you guys so much, Freeman.
I thank you so much.
I'm going to continue to support you. I'm going to continue to do
it.
what you do. You're uplifting a lot of people, and you're bringing a lot of light to a lot of situations.
Yes, and that's my goal. That's my goal.
Like
learning from each other.
Part 2, we'll get together. I'm gonna talk to you through Alan, but
okay.
For all the people that viewed, thank you guys so much. I truly
thank you. Thank you.
I'm extremely humble. I appreciate it. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love the opportunity to be able to speak on your platform, and I wish you nothing but success.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing that, because I know it touched somebody. Somebody's going to tell somebody your story. So we definitely have to do a part 2, because like you said, it's much more. But I know your battery's about to die, and I don't want to just end it so crazy. So thank you so much for coming on, Horace.
No
Y'all be looking for that part 2. We're definitely going to make that happen. And hey, it may be a part 3 too. But as we always say on Let's Sip and Talk with Freema, peace and love.
All right.